Have you ever stared at the ceiling at 3 a.m., wide awake, feeling your chest buzz with a quiet panic that has no name? You try to breathe deeper, but your thoughts just speed up. You replay conversations. You plan and replan your life. You Google symptoms you don't even have. And then you ask the heavy question, why do I feel like this for no reason at all? According to Viktor Frankl, it's not for no reason. That restlessness, that insomnia, that tight knot under your ribs, he would say it carries a message. It's your life tapping your shoulder in the dark, not to scare you, to ask you something. Frankl lived through the worst nights a person can face. He watched the world collapse and still found a way to say yes to life. He didn't promise a life without pain. He promised something better, a way to turn pain into meaning. And that changes everything, especially at midnight when you can't find the off switch. Let's stay in that room together for a moment. The window is a square of cold light. Your phone screen is a small sun. You scroll, hoping to lull yourself to sleep. But the more you try to force your mind to shut down, the louder it becomes. Here is Frankl's first clue. What you are fighting is not the thought tits, the emptiness behind the thought. He called it the existential vacuum, a quiet suction that pulls you into anxiety when life feels unanchored. You might think, so what? I just want to sleep. But this is where Frankl's approach flips the script. Instead of asking, why won't sleep come? He asks, what is your night trying to tell you about your day? Anxiety at night is often meaning talking through a closed door. In the silence, your mind hears questions it can't hear during the noise of the day. Questions like, what am I living for right now? What work is asking me to create? What person needs my love, today, not someday? What suffering is calling me to a brave response? Here's the good news. Frankl doesn't leave us alone with the questions. He gives us 3 concrete paths to meaning, 3 pillars you can touch when the floor feels unsteady. The first is creative, what you give to the world through work, action, craft. The second is experiential, the beauty and love you receive, music, friendship, sunrise, the smell of coffee, the voice that makes you soften. The third is attitudinal, the stance you take toward unavoidable pain, the part of life you can't fix, but can face. When the night tightens around you, you can touch any of these pillars. Ask, can I name one small creative task I will commit to tomorrow morning? Not a grand plan. One clear, living task that belongs to me. Can I name one person I will show up for in a way that makes them feel seen? Can I choose an attitude toward this heavy feeling that is dignified, even if the feeling doesn't lift yet? Frankl also noticed something else that insomniacs know too well. The more you try to force sleep, the further it runs. He called one of his tools paradoxical intention. It sounds strange, but it's simple. Instead of begging for sleep, you playfully allow the opposite. You say to yourself, all right, mind, let's stay awake. Let's see how long we can. The pressure valve hisses. The desperation loosens. Anxiety feeds on control. It starves when you release it. I'm not saying you can trick your biology like a light switch. I'm saying you can change the atmosphere. When you stop wrestling the night and start listening to it, meaning walks in. You can even make a ritual. Turn the phone face down. Sit up in bed. Whisper, what do you want me to know? Then write down 3 things. A task to create, a person to love, a brave attitude to practice. Set them like 3 stones on a dark river. Then let the river move. You may be thinking, fine, but what about the spiral? The one where your heart begins to sprint and your brain says, something's wrong, something's wrong. Frankl gives us another move, dereflection. Instead of staring at your own pulse until it becomes a siren, you place your attention outside yourself on a task, a sound, a face in memory, not to escape, but to shift from self-obsessing to self-transcending. Think of attention like a flashlight. Point it at the fear and it grows. Point it at meaning and the fear loses oxygen. Here's a simple way to practice dereflection in the dark. Choose a symbol that matters to you, a photo of someone you love, a line from a song that saved you once, a promise you made that still holds. Keep it near your bed. When the spiral begins, don't interrogate the panic. Turn the flashlight. Gently place your mind on that symbol. Ask, how can I honor this right now, in this minute? Maybe it means breathing for 3 minutes, not to calm down, but to prepare for the person you want to be at sunrise. Maybe it means planning one specific act of service in the morning. This isn't positive thinking, it's purpose thinking. And there's something else we don't say out loud enough. Anxiety is often the bodyguard of real desire. That pulse you hate might be guarding a door to the life that would cost you comfort. Frankl would ask, what if the fear is the signpost pointing to your meaning, not a wall blocking it? If you follow it like a compass, where does it point? Take the question with you for a week. What is my anxiety trying to protect? A talent you've hidden, a conversation you owe someone, a boundary you need to set, or maybe a grief you need to finally honor. Sometimes the reason you can't sleep is not that you're broken. It's that you haven't told the truth to yourself. Now, there's a trap we all step into, trying to fix the whole of our life at 3 a.m. The mind loves big, vague problems. It can chew on them forever. Frankl invites us to make the night small and specific. You don't need to fix your career in the dark. You need to name one courageous, meaningful step for tomorrow, and then get back to being a human in a bed. Try this. Make a tiny oath Frankl would approve. A tiny oath is a one-sentence promise that you can keep with dignity, even if the night stays loud. Tomorrow at 8 a.m., I will send one email to the person I've been avoiding. At lunch, I will take 10 minutes to really look at the sky. After work, I will cook for the neighbor who just lost someone. Tiny oaths turn insomnia into a briefing. The night stops being an enemy. It becomes a counsel. If you worry, but what if I fail? What if I don't keep it? Frankl's answer is gentle and strong. You are not the sum of last night's failures. You are the freedom to choose right now. Between stimulus and response, he said, there is a space. In that space is your power, not the power to control outcomes, the power to decide who you will be in the face of them. There's a line from his life that never leaves me. In the camps, stripped of everything, he still wrote in his mind. He still shaped sentences on the inside. And in that inward work, dignity survived. If he could claim that space amid horror, you can claim it in your bedroom when the clock hits 2:47 a.m. The same human freedom lives in you, the same quiet authority. Let's go deeper into the practical. If insomnia is your companion, create a meaning map for the night. 3 zones. Zone 1, accept and arrange. Sit up, sip water, adjust your blanket, lower the light. All signals of safety. Zone 2, listen and list. Ask the night its message and write down the 3 stones. Create, love, attitude. Zone 3, release and rest. This is the paradoxical intention zone. You say, I permit myself to be awake. I permit myself to be a person who is learning to rest. The irony is, sleep visits people who are at home with being awake. You might ask, isn't this just distraction with fancy words? No, Distraction avoids the question. Frankl faces it and offers a task, because meaning is a task. It is something you do, not merely something you feel. There will be nights when none of this seems to work. You'll do the ritual and still feel the old hum. On those nights, the attitudinal path becomes your anchor. You can't change the storm. You can change the sailor. Frankl would say, can you suffer bravely tonight? Not heroically, not theatrically bravely. Can you hold this discomfort with dignity and refuse to make it your identity? This is not surrender. It is the highest form of defiance, to say, I am more than what I feel. And if your anxiety hides under the name of productivity, if you race all day to keep from feeling the emptiness, Frankl's experiential path is for you. Schedule beauty like a meeting. Beauty is not extra. It nourishes the part of you that cannot be bullied by metrics. 10 minutes of music with your phone in another room. A slow walk without counting steps. A conversation where you actually listen for the other person's meaning. These moments feed a hunger that anxiety mistakes for danger. When that hunger is fed, the alarm quiets. Now, I want to give you a simple morning follow-through, because the night is only the question. The day is the answer. When you wake, don't rush. Read your 3 stones from the night. Choose the smallest one and do it before noon. The point is not to win. The point is to keep a promise to yourself. Every kept promise turns the existential vacuum into ground. Here's a powerful add-on. Once a week, do a meaning audit. Ask 3 questions. Where did I give this week? Where did I receive this week? Where did I stand tall in suffering this week? Write 1 sentence under each. That's it. The brain loves to exaggerate what's missing. This pulls your eyes back to what you're making, what you're loving, and how you're standing. Over time, the night has less ammunition. We should talk about fear of the future, because it often sneaks into the night dressed as insomnia. Frankl again asks the braver question. What if the future isn't asking for predictions from you, but participation? You don't need to foresee the entire road. You need to prepare your character for whatever road appears. That's why he won't give you certainty. He'll give you responsibility. Responsibility is lighter than it sounds. It means your life is responding to something worthy, and that is a peace no forecast can buy. And one more tough truth, said with love. Sometimes we want sleep to save us from a day we refuse to change. The bed becomes a boat we never leave. Frankl doesn't shame you for that. He simply turns on a small lamp and asks, is there one thing you can change in honor of the life that's trying to happen through you? Not a total overhaul, one honest pivot. Send the email. End the thing that is quietly killing you. Begin the thing that scares you because it matters. Midway through this conversation, I want to ask you something real. Which night message has been knocking for you lately? And what is one tiny oath you'll keep tomorrow to honor it? Share it in the comments. I read them. And if this is helping you breathe a little easier, consider subscribing so we can keep building these moments of meaning together. All right, back to the night. There's a final technique from Frankl that fits insomnia like a key. Humor not to mock your pain, but to loosen its grip. Paradoxical intention loves humor. When you whisper, fine, mind, let's stay up all night and write the world's most dramatic to-do list, your fear gets embarrassed. It stands there, hands in pockets, a little less tall. Humor returns you to your human size. And in that human size, sleep finds you. None of this removes the fact that anxiety hurts. Sometimes it burns. Sometimes it feels like the walls are moving closer. Frankl never denied that. He simply insisted that even in that space, you can choose. Choose to call a friend. Choose to stand, turn on a lamp, and make tea like a patient person. Choose to breathe, not to fix yourself, but to be kind to the animal in your chest. Choose to remember that you are the one who can still say yes. And if tonight is one of the worst ones, if your thoughts won't stop screaming, the most meaningful act might be to ask for help. Frankl practiced medicine. He respected therapy, community, medicine when needed. Reaching out is not a failure of meaning. It is an expression of it. It says, "My life is worth the support it takes to carry it." Before we close, picture this. You in the same room later this week. The window a darker square. The phone asleep. The clock blinking. The hum begins. But this time, you don't flinch. You sit up. You listen. You place your 3 stones. You smile just a little at the drama of it all. And you whisper, "I can stay awake if I must. And I can still be me." Maybe sleep comes 5 minutes later. Maybe it doesn't. But when morning arrives, you are someone who has kept a promise. And that, over time, rebuilds a life from the inside out. Frankl believed the world is asking a question of you. Every day, every night, your answer is your life. Not the one you'll live someday. The one you're shaping in this exact hour. Anxiety may visit. Insomnia may knock. Let them be messengers, not masters. Take their letters, read them. Then choose your reply. And if you need a sentence to carry out of this video, take this. What is my night trying to tell me about my day end? What one loving, courageous thing will I do when the sun comes up? Hold that in your pocket. Let it warm. When the next midnight arrives, you won't be empty. You are not broken. You are being invited. And you are allowed to say yes, even here, even now, in the dark.